Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Go Global Information session for Exchange. Hi, everyone. I'm Glenda. I'm one of the Global Learning Coordinators. I deal with UK, France, Germany, and Africa. And we also have Jasmine, who does the rest of Europe and Americas. And Clara is here, who is also Global Learning Coordinator, and she covers Asia and Oceania. Okay. I think Alyssa is here. Alyssa, if you,
Hi, yes.
hi, Alyssa, thanks for joining us. We have a student here. Alyssa, we're recording. So I just made you co-host.
Thank you.
Let me just stop the video. So I'll let Alyssa take over. And she did an exchange. She's a York student who went on exchange to France, and I'll let her talk about her experience.
Awesome, thank you. So I'm assuming everyone will be able to see my presentation here. So I'll just get started. So hi, like it was mentioned, my name is Alyssa. I went on exchange to Bordeaux, France this past January, so the winter 2023 semester. And I'm just going to be talking a little bit about my experience and what I did and give you some information. So I went to University Bordeaux-Montaigne, which is in the south of France. And I'm just going to be sharing a little bit about my experience and hopefully get you to be excited to go on exchange as well. So I am a York University student. I do go to Glendon, our Glendon campus, which is our French campus. And I'm studying for an IBSc in psychology. And so my experience, I'm just going to be talking a little bit about the benefits. So what I was able to take away from the experience, a little bit about University Bordeaux-Montaigne if you're considering going there, and just some of my pro tips, what I would recommend to have sort of the best year or semester abroad. So the benefits of studying abroad, learning French through an educational institution in France was definitely more beneficial for me. Because as someone who already spoke a bit of French, it was able to help me clean up my grammar, work on some of my verbal speaking skills, and just tie into a supportive learning environment. Everyone was there to learn, so it definitely creates a safer space to make mistakes. And of course, since we're practicing every day, you're getting that correction and you're learning a lot quicker. In terms of practical usage, being abroad definitely means that you're learning both inside and outside of the classroom. So even when you're going out with friends or you're meeting new people, or just waiting in line at a boulangerie, you're picking up terms that you're not learning in the textbook. And so you're able to see how slang and like conversational terms are used in context, which is really cool and really important if you want to become fluent in a language. You also get to learn more nuanced details. So, like little phrases, sounds, or transition words that are sort of those finer details that really make you sound more fluent. And of course, I was able to take all of this home with me, and it definitely renewed my love of French when I was there. Now, a little bit about Bordeaux, which is the city that I was studying in. So it's really rich in art and history. It has over 300 historic monuments, and it's super accessible. So much like a lot of Europe, Bordeaux has a really expansive tram and bus system, and it's also really pedestrian friendly. So it has a walkable city center, and all of these things are really great factors that I considered when I was going on exchange because I knew I wouldn't be driving. I wouldn't have likely have access to a car very often. So it's definitely important to do a little bit of research on the city that you're planning to go to and see how transportation will be affecting your life while you're living there. So a bit about Université Bordeaux-Montaigne. It is mostly focused on the arts and languages, literatures and human and social sciences, that sort of thing. It's actually one of the largest campuses in Europe, so it does span most of Bordeaux. The location I was studying in was in Pessac, so just outside of the city center. And it is a multilingual university. So they do have courses, of course, in French and in English, but they did have courses in Spanish, and quite a few other languages as well. And so some of my pro tips. So these are just a few things that I definitely would recommend to look into before going on exchange or even while you're on exchange. A lot of these are a little bit specific to France, but there are some alternatives, of course, that you can look into if you're going to other countries. So number one, I would say start your applications early. You definitely want to make sure if you have to get a visa or a bank account or anything like that, that you're getting that done as quickly as possible, just because you don't want to have to wait on any sort of administration when you're, say, trying to get into housing or trying to get any sort of documentation completed. So anything that you can get done earlier, definitely try to get that done as soon as possible. Number two, I'd say pack strategically. Especially when you're coming back from your exchange experience, you're going to want to bring back souvenirs, or you might buy things while you're there. So make sure that you leave some space or you have a plan for when you're coming back. And of course, if you can buy things there instead of bringing them with you, that can definitely save you some money if you're, trying to not overpack or pay extra for a lot of extra baggage. Tip number three, this is specific to France, but I would say apply for housing assistance. So students are eligible for housing assistance, especially if you're living on a campus residence. So definitely apply for housing assistance because you can get quite a bit off of your monthly rent, and it does apply retroactively. So if you're like me and you didn't remember, you weren't advised to apply until a bit further into your exchange experience, you'll still be able to get that money back for dates that you were there previously. So that was really great. Tip number four, I would say, is go to ESN events. So ESN is the Erasmus Student Network. The university that I went to in Bordeaux definitely had a good partnership with them, but there are other universities that, of course, outside of just France, that partner with them. And they do a great job of hosting events and hosting just parties or events or just opportunities to meet other exchange students and students who are local to the area. So it's a really, really great way to make friends really quickly. So I definitely recommend if there are any ESN events in your area that you go to them. That's how I met basically all of the friends that I made when I was in France. So definitely a tip that I would recommend. Number five, I would say, is be a tourist. So when you get to the city, especially for me in France, I definitely wanted to seem like a local really quickly, and I didn't want to sort of stand out, sort of thing. But you definitely want to take the time to explore your city, go to the tourist destinations, go to the monuments, really enjoy the place that you're going to be staying for the next couple of months or a year. You definitely want to take the time to appreciate where you are at. So don't be afraid to be a bit of a tourist, especially in the beginning. Tip number six, I would say, is look for student discounts. So for me, I was definitely on a budget when I was on exchange, but I wanted to still be able to travel, especially in Europe where everything is a little bit closer. You can access a lot of other countries by train. You definitely want to look for some discounts or even discounts to, say, museums, art areas, just different things that can help you save a bit of money and also encourage you to visit different places in your city. And my final tip, tip number seven, is very specific to France, but I would say get an SNCF rail card. So similar to what I just mentioned about traveling around Europe, if you're going to be taking a lot of train trips, or even just like me, since I was studying in the south of France, I would take trips up to Paris. Taking the train is something that I did often, and I do wish that I got an SNCF rail card because it does help you save quite a bit of money on tickets when you're traveling, or it just caps prices so that you're not paying an excessive amount. So definitely consider getting a rail card or any sort of transportation membership if you are going to be staying for a bit of time. And if you are planning to travel, it can really save you quite a bit of money. And yeah, those are my tips. That's all of the information that I have to share with you guys today. This is just some pictures from my trip. And if you have any questions or if you have, you know, any concerns or if you just have some information that you'd like to know more about, definitely feel free to reach out and I'd be more than happy to answer. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Alyssa. Okay, so just a note about COVID-19 and travel safety. We take that very seriously, and if you are selected to go on exchange, there will be some safety abroad requirements that you would have to fulfill prior to leaving. Again, we'll get into more of that once you are selected and going. So what is global learning? So global learning is, somebody going internationally to do any kind of, it could be like to go there to study, go there for internship, um, go there for a conference. It can be many things, but it also, you don't have to travel in order to do this. And I'll talk about that in a second. Why go abroad? You heard from Melissa about her experience and all the things that she's gained throughout her time there. But again, it's a challenge. You're going to experience a different culture. Maybe you want to improve on a language, make new friends, travel around. So there's so many things that are beneficial in order to take, you're taking initiative to go abroad somewhere. A lot, you're going to be independent because you're not going to be, probably living with your parents, right? So this experience is great to build you as a person as well. So where can you go? We have 300 plus global partners all around the world. We do have a Where Can You Go page, which is very critical that you look at that website to see who our partners are. We have various programs available for your students. The one today we're talking about is academic exchange, so I won't get into that right now, but we do have the short-term study abroad, which is summer partner programs. So basically you would go in the summer, maybe for 1 or 2 courses that transfer back to your York degree, but it's lower electives. You pay that institution the program and the course. And a lot of the times there's also like excursions that you do, and it can last, 1, 2, maybe up to 6 weeks abroad. It's up to you how long you want to go there, depending on how many courses. We do have global internships, which is usually for 3 months. The application right now is open for summer placements for summer of 2024. So it is up to 3 months for the summer, and it can be paid or unpaid. And you do gain professional experience. So if you're interested in that, we do have information sessions running. And then there's faculty-led programs. These are basically your courses that are being taught, maybe a portion of it here and then a portion abroad. It is during the summer, and you're basically traveling with the professor and with other York students from the class. So globally learning is basically what I was speaking about before, how sometimes you can't do a, international experience because of many different reasons. And so for students, they can take part in this program, the GNL, which enables students to work with other students from around the world on a shared project. And it does help you get that, intercultural, international experience in some way. So if you're interested in that, you can always email and we'll send you information. So am I eligible? So this is a requirement for many of our global learning opportunities. You should be undergrad or graduate student, good academic standing, minimum GPA of 5.5, should be full-time student, completed at least 18 credits at the time of application. And domestic and international students are welcome to apply. Again, if you are going to, for example, improve on a language, take language classes, or take courses in a particular language other than English, you will need to have an assessment for that. How much does it cost? This is kind of part of your research that you have to do. So for an exchange program, you are paying your tuition, but you're going to pay for housing, food, entertainment, travel, flights, visas, possibly vaccinations, insurance. That is something that all York students, if going abroad, have to purchase Guardme insurance. So that's an additional cost. And then sometimes you might have to, the host university that you're possibly going to might also require you to pay for insurance there too. So just be mindful of that. However, we do have funding and scholarships available. So every student going on an exchange program is eligible for the York International Mobility Award, because this is for open to students traveling abroad for credit or non-credit. But again, the amount varies depending on where you're going and for how long. If you get another scholarship, for example, we do have a lot of endowed awards available, and these are basically based, you have to meet a certain criteria to apply, and if you do and you get it, for example, then you will not get YIMA because the endowed awards are a more substantial amount. So just to keep that in mind. And we would tell you, obviously, the deadlines for all these if you're selected and going. But this is just to let you know that there is some funding available for students. And if you are on OSAP, for example, OSAP will also give you funds for exchange, because you are paying your university tuition and living abroad, right? So how do you apply? So typically students should be in their second year, and then they're planning on going abroad in their third year, so fall or winter of their third year, because you do have to have at least completed 18 credits at York. You have to have a minimum GPA. So if you're a first year student, you don't have a GPA per se. Like if you have transferred from another college or university, that's different. But if you're a first year student right now, you should not be applying for the January 23rd deadline. You can apply for the June 1st deadline, but June 1st will only be for winter of 2025. You should be speaking to your academic advisor. You want to make sure that you know your degree requirements and making sure, like, what do you have left to do? Do you have any free electives that you can do abroad? Because those are easier to do, especially for programs that it's hard to get, course approvals. Maybe electives would be a better option. So if you have electives lower level available, these are usually great to do abroad because you don't need to have approval. You do need to start building relationships with a TA or a professor, because you do need to have reference letter. So just make sure that you're aware. So maybe start building that connection with a professor or TA. You're going to be researching the host universities that you're interested in. We allow you to put up to 3. You should be putting your first choice and then your second. So researching the cost of living, all that stuff is important in your application. So like I said before, you have a first and second choice. The language of instruction. So are you going to be taking courses in English, or are you going to be taking courses in the language of the institution if you're fluent, for example? You're going to look at the courses. So do they offer courses in the subject area that you are studying here? What are possible courses you can be taking? Do they sound and look interesting? So these are just things that you want to make sure that you are, researching. The credit system. What is the credit system here? Not everywhere is like York. So for example, in Europe, it goes by ECTS. So 30 ECTS is 15 York U credits. Okay, so just keep that in mind. The academic culture. For example, here at York, you're used to like, many things add up to the 100%. So for example, in your class, you have like a presentation, 10%, midterm 30, final 40, a little assignments here and there, and all add up to 100%. But for example, in maybe France, it might be, some courses might be just 100% final exam. So that's something that you need to look into and make sure if you're comfortable with, taking a course that has 100% final exam. So there's no assessments in between, it's just your final. You should be researching the cost of living, transportation, the flight, how much it's going to cost, how much is housing, do they have housing on campus or off? The immigration and visa requirements, you can look up the embassy of the country that you're going to and start looking into, how would you go to that institution or country. Budget, you're required to research and put down on the application. You just put down an estimate of how much it's going to cost for you to live there. Those that are interested in the Killam Fellowship deadline, that's December 1st. If you are interested in other partners for fall or the winter term, the deadline is January 23rd. And then the June 1st is only for winter term of 2025, but these are going to be limited institutions because the first choice or the top institutions that are most popular would be given on the January 23rd deadline to those students who applied. Okay, so you're going to be entering your application, like the information, the choice of the universities that you're interested. You're going to put order of preference, first and second choice. The budget is just for your first choice. And remember, it's just an estimate. It's more for you to know and understand how much it will cost to go there. The statement of interest, you're going to put the first paragraph, you're going to write, the academic reasons why you want to go to your first university. And then the second paragraph will be academic reasons why you want to go to your second choice. You want to make sure that you're providing, like I said, academic reasons why. For example, I want to go and take these 2 courses. They sound interesting. I want to learn, through another lens, see other perspectives. I want to possibly do my master's program there. There's a professor there that I'm interested in taking his course. The university is in the top 100 ranked, et cetera, et cetera. So things like that. So just assume that that university is going to read your statement of interest. The language assessment form, that's only required if you're going to take courses in a different language other than English. So you would need to get that form filled out, and the link is on the application if you need to send it to a professor here in order to take your language assessment form. TA professor, the reference link is also available on the application. You will send that to a professor or a TA to have fill out. And then some institutions might require 2. So for example, the Killam Fellowship requires 2 references, but right now for this application, you only need 1. So you're going to submit your app by January 23rd. For most programs, like I said before, Killam is December 1st. There is also another deadline for education students applying to PH Freiburg. That deadline is November 1st. So once you apply, we're going to review your application and then send you hopefully an offer. You should be getting your passport updated right now because it should be valid 6 months after the date of your return. Once you are, depending again on what term you're going in, so if you're going for the fall or for the full year to this institution, we would nominate you to the host, And then either the host university or one of the GLCs will contact you regarding, the application instructions, and they will send you other information as well during that time. And then we will have a session about course equivalencies. So if you are planning to do courses in your major, for example, we introduce at that time the course assessment form and how to proceed with trying to get approvals for your degree. So that happens sometime in about March or April of next year. And then the host institution will send you an offer letter and information about housing, visa, courses, etc. If you're only going for the winter term, this doesn't happen until the fall term of next year. So just be aware of the times that you will be contacted. So the link is open, so you can start your application. Please look at the Where Can You Go page. This is very, very important, as you need to make sure that you're picking the right institution. They're a partner. There's links there to access their exchange website on their institution webpage. And then also, like, sometimes some institutions require, a higher GPA, for example. You could see that there. Or if a university is only open to, a specific program, that would be said there as well. So make sure that you look at this page, very important. We do have drop-in advising hours. If you want to come talk to one of the GLCs, we're available Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 1 to 3:30. This is in person at 200 York Lanes. So we do ask before you come, you speak to your program advisor, which is very important because you want to know your degree requirements. You should be researching what universities you're interested in, because we can't tell you where to go. So you need to look at that, and you just be flexible with your options. So hopefully you can find a program that works for you. You attended this session, so that's great. So you should be speaking with your program advisor. You can come speak to us or email us if you have any questions. Start your application. You can go in and out of your application. So you can go in there, have a look, and then come back to it. Know the deadlines. And just to let you know, we do have global chats happening. And these are basically, you can scan the code. We have students who have been away last year, like Alyssa, or who are here on exchange. They're doing a global chat, which, like, they will just be in a room. We have a global cafe room. You would come in and just ask questions. We usually do them by country. So for example, if you're interested in the UK, then there might be a UK session where global chats is happening. So you could just find the QR code, but this is basically on our York International calendar website. All the global chats are listed there, and you'll see what country would be represented there if you're interested. We also have a lot of partner institutions doing information sessions, so you can get that also from the calendar through this QR code, and see who is doing some information sessions. Maybe one of the partners you're interested in is doing a session, so you can check that. So if you have any questions, you can ask now, but you can also email us at goglobal@yorku.ca.
I have a question.
Just let me pause.